Welcome back to REMIC TV. I'm Jasmine Bowen, and you are watching The Elephant in the Room. I hope you had a good break. Now, we're going back to our episode on nerd culture, and we have Joshua, Larry, and Dominic here, each representing different products. So, Joshua, let me start. You have your own game.
Yeah, I'm a game designer. I've designed a game called Simple Superheroes.
Okay, so tell me about it, because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know anything about Dungeons & Dragons or how to play.
Well, any tabletop role-playing game is basically an interactive storytelling game.
Okay.
So one person takes, in my game, you take on the role of superheroes.
Okay, so I can be Spider-Man.
Yes, you could be Spider-Man.
Awesome.
Or somebody similar.
Or somebody similar to Spider-Man.
Or you can come up with whatever kind of powers you like.
Oh, so I don't have to be marketed superheroes?
No, you can just invent your own. One of the main things with role-playing games is you get to be incredibly creative.
Awesome.
So what would happen is you'd be a character, and I would control the world.
Okay.
So I would be everybody else in the world.
Okay.
So it's like you're a part writer in a novel, where I'm the narrator, and you get to control the character. Okay. And so whenever there is some sort of conflict, like say the nefarious villain shows up and
like Dr. Doom
tries to kidnap your lady love or man who you love, be it as it may.
Whatever.
You know, you'll roll some dice to resolve the conflict of you know, whether you can hit this person or catch up to them or whatever, based on what your abilities are.
Okay. So how do I win?
Because it's a story game, there is no real such thing as winning. I mean, clearly there are victories, but the story can always continue. Okay.
So I'm kind of choose your own adventure-ish through the game.
It is similar to that.
Okay.
But you have a lot more choices available to you.
So it's not just turn to page 2 or 4?
Yes, because there's a live person who can respond to you and say, yes, there's a stick on the ground that you can pick up.
Now, do I have to dress up?
No. Some people enjoy dressing up, but most people do not. Okay. No, you just sit around the table with your friends and crack open some pop and eat some chips or have some beer and have a good evening and tell a story together. All right. Wow, that sounds interesting. And where can I purchase the game, or where can I contact you? You can find my game website is simplesuperheroes.webs.com, and you can purchase the game there. As the name implies, it's a relatively simple, straightforward system. Okay. And I can buy this book form, or? Yeah, you can buy it in book form and in PDF. Okay. And if you were to compare this to Dungeons & Dragons for the 3 core rulebooks is about 900 pages. Wow. And this is 45. So it really is simple. Yes. And how are sales going? Very good. I've sold it in France, England, America, Canada. Wow. Great Britain. So those superheroes are getting out there. Yes, they are. All right. And Dominic, you run a convention in Toronto. That's right. Is it like Fan Expo?
I wish it was. It's so large, but
all right, well, tell me about it.
It's entirely centered on role-playing games like this one. Okay, what we call it tabletop gaming, convention gaming, and the biggest single game is probably Dungeons and Dragons. But there are other games. Really, I think most people are familiar with a game like World of Warcraft, for example. That's pretty mainstream, right? Yeah,
computer games are really out there.
Right. Well, instead of being one person in the basement playing a computer and the rules are really controlled by the computer, so you can only do what's programmed in there. We meet face-to-face in small groups, and as Josh was just saying, a human being controls the backdrop of the adventure. So if you think of something that sounds reasonable, you can do it in a role-playing game.
Reasonable, so I can't blow up the world because I'm bored?
No.
Oh, okay, well.
No, there's no cheat code to blow up the world in D&D.
There's no cheat code.
That's right. Okay. That's right. So no 5-year-old who got lucky with a modem can wipe out the entire game.
Okay.
Actually, quite convenient.
That sounds like a good thing.
I think so. And it's also more social because you do actually get face-to-face with a bunch of people. And nowadays it's played, well, me and my wife and a couple of family friends and their wives, and we get together and like Josh said, might have a glass of wine and just play a really good game for an evening.
So when is your convention?
The convention's on the 24th, 25th and 26th of February, coming right up. And it's open to everybody, basically. If you have an interest, show up, because it's a good time.
So all levels of players, even all somebody watching and just decides they want to try?
Especially beginners. Especially beginners.
And where is it?
It's at the Legion Hall. It's Legion 101 down in Etobicoke.
And where can we contact you about that?
You can reach me at dominic.aman@gmail.com.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And this is all going to be on the bottom of your screen. Don't worry if you don't have a pen. It's fine. This is the computer age. Now, Larry, you're here representing TAG. Tell me about TAG.
We are the Toronto area gamers. We run a website that organizes people to get together. If they want to meet up to play a role-playing game.
So kind of outside of organized conventions.
Yeah, we're outside of organized conventions. If you just want to find a bunch of people to meet weekly or monthly, or even if you just want to meet once and play one game on a weekend coming up with a complete bunch of strangers, it's completely doable. We meet rather often. We are right now we've got over 400 members.
Wow.
And and we focus on role-playing games and board games.
Okay, so we don't just have to play superheroes or Dungeons and Dragons.
No, and you can go in and suggest your own event for people to show up at. You can choose the venue and set it up, and we'll post it for anyone who might be interested.
And is this free to join?
It's free to join. There's no cost whatsoever.
Okay, so where can we contact you, or I guess TAG about this?
We have our website is torontoareagamers.com.
Okay.
There's as for fees, there's the occasional fee for larger events, but never more than $2. And other than that, the actual site itself is free, and at www.torontoareagamers.com, it's free to join, and you can stay as long as you want.
All right, now that we've gotten all your product out there, and you guys certainly have unique products and services, let me ask you this. When you're not playing Dungeons & Dragons or simple superheroes or whatever you're doing, what are you doing?
Well, I also play a lot of board games. That's another thing altogether.
I think what I'm trying to get at is, what are you doing? You're going to work, you're paying the rent,
of course, or
you're casting spells. What are you doing?
All kinds of people from all walks of life play role-playing games.
Okay.
From lawyers to people who work at the local movie theater.
It's true.
All over the place. To young kids in school. To people who have retired.
And one thing I noticed about these games is it's not just mindless press a button. There's some math involved.
There is. Actually, a friend of mine had come to the country from, the stepson of a friend of mine came here from Thailand. His English was very poor, and his stepfather decided to get him involved with us playing Dungeons and Dragons as a tool to improve his comprehension and his math in English.
Wow, that's a great learning tool too, because I know some people, they're worried about some of the costumes they see at Fan Expo and they don't think it's appropriate for children.
Right.
But it can be.
Oh, absolutely. It can be a very good tool for actually socializing people,
All right.
strange as it seems.
So, do you guys feel threatened in any way? I mean, you guys were the originals, especially you, Dominic, way back when it came out. You were the originals, and now you have porn stars, celebrities, major motion pictures, all of this coming out. Do you feel like your culture or your games have changed because of this?
Oh, they've changed, but it's all good.
Yeah.
It's good? All right.
More people and more games is always good. I mean, when the first game came out in 1974, we didn't have many options. Right. Now, you go on RPG.net and there's 16,000 games game systems that people have written.
Yeah, we don't want to just disappear as a subculture of a bunch of, grey old white men. We want a new generation to pick up this hobby and grow it even more and get really involved.
And Larry, I saw you trying to say something over there.
Well, I was actually going to mention that as far as the math issue, it's a common question of, is the math too difficult? And it almost never is. it's very simple math of, add this number to this number, and you're pretty much done.
All right. Well, even I can do simple addition, I hope. So we have choose your own adventure going on. We have organized conventions. So it essentially finds the friends for you.
Yeah.
It does all the work for you, and then you can go to Fan Expo and find all the pretty girls as well. Now, do you guys have any closing message to leave with us? Maybe we'll start on Larry's end.
I would just suggest it's a wonderful social activity. If you're just looking to meet other people, there's it's pretty much it's pretty good hobby to have. Just because you can always be able to find new people to go in, and there's actual socializing involved. There's no voodoo. There's no strange satanic rituals. If they're happening in your head alone.
That's a whole other issue.
which then leads to other issues.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, and you're actually socializing with people as
which is different from being in your basement playing on a computer.
Sure.
And Dominic, what closing message would you like to leave?
I would say that if you've liked watching Lord of the Rings or Battlestar Galactica or Star Wars, and you want to be Luke Skywalker or King Arthur and Camelot, if you ever really want to immerse yourselves in one of those characters, then come on out and give it a shot, because you can.
And there's no stage fright either.
Oh, no, not at all. It's just a bunch of people around a table just like we are right now.
All right.
And a story going on.
Sounds good. Joshua, what do you want to leave us with?
A lot of people don't realize how it's just really straightforward. You're just getting together with your friends, really, and having a good time. And that's really what it's all about. And you're just telling a story that you can all participate and enjoy. And it's more than one person could ever do. That's one of the great appeals to role-playing games for me, because yes, you could write a story yourself, but you wouldn't get that contribution from other people that really make the story that much more when you're playing the game.
So there's creative, there's math, it's child appropriate. Well, guys, it sounds pretty good. And there's porn stars. I mean,
there can be.
Yeah, there can be.
Yeah.
You're hoping for. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, guys, and sharing your stories. I do wish you the best of luck in each of your endeavors, and good luck at the convention coming up. And hopefully your game continues to go upwards. And Larry organizing all these tag meetups is great for the Toronto area. So best of luck, guys. You have been watching The Elephant in the Room. I'm Jasmine Bowen. This was Nerd Culture, which is not so nerdy anymore. Catch you next time.